Well, he takes your clothes?
Yes, he takes all my clothes.
Well, I look better in that.
He's wearing my jeans right now.
Did you give him permission to wear your
No, I
jeans?
didn't. No. And last week I wore his jacket to a camp out, and I come home and he starts screaming at me because I wore his new jacket.
And then he started screaming back. He didn't apologize, so we didn't talk for a couple days.
Wow, so that goes on. Anybody else, as far as you're 3 years apart, right?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? What are your
Well,
relationships
as far
like?
as I'm concerned, my brother don't take my clothes.
I hope not.
In the Asian family, I don't know about most others, but some, like, they really don't get along with their brothers or sister because of the things, like if you have an older brother and he wants you to do this and do that and not hang around late at night, and like you refuse because you think he's only your big brother, but he's not your father, okay? So, this is my little brother. I get along with him. I don't know what he thinks about me, but I like him a lot.
Well, let's find out. Little brother, what do you think about her? Oh, okay. How much age difference are you, or how much older?
Well, he's 2 years younger than I am.
Oh, okay. Okay. What else do you like argue about, or what do you agree upon as far as your relationship?
We argue about phones and TVs.
Phones and TV?
Yes.
Phone
Okay.
is like a real big,
Okay.
real big issue.
How so? Now, you are 5 years older than your sister.
Yeah, I'm 5 years older, and she's 12, and I'm 17.
Okay.
And I think it's hard that you guys are friends. I try real hard, but it doesn't usually work out that well.
Why not?
Yeah, we fight.
I don't know, but sharing everything is like, especially like mom, sharing mom. Well, our parents are divorced, and so we were like always sharing mom, and that's the toughest, worse than the phone. So
Trying to get her attention more.
I think the reason me and Ryan were so close is because we grew up together in a small house, and we like shared the same room. And you know, we used to listen to records and jump from bed to bed and do all kinds of
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, because we've always done things together. We've always been together. I think we share a lot, but there's times where it just hits a certain point where you just kind of explode.
What's been the most embarrassing thing that you've done to one another, and can tell us on television now? What's been the wildest thing? The wildest thing that you've done? I'm sure the twins. Let's go right into
talked to her boyfriend one time on the phone.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You talked to her boy.
Yeah,
He couldn't tell the difference.
No, because we sound the same on the phone.
Yeah.
Now you're older by what? 4 minutes? Did you say?
Yeah.
What other problems have you had being identical twins?
We fight about
Boyfriend's supposed to be fine.
huh?
Who's better looking?
What?
Did you look the same? Sorry.
Yeah.
Who is better looking?
She is.
No, that's not true.
What do your boyfriends think? I mean, where's the problem lie with them? And do you like to have fun? Do you do anything on purpose because you're twins? Is that an advantage being a twin?
Yeah. Like switch classes and different things like that.
But we don't switch boyfriends.
No, we don't.
I kill her.
Tell me about switching classes. I mean, how that can be kind of tough, I would think.
Well, we had the same teacher, same classes, just different times. And we would just go to different classes. And
I'd like
they would never
twice or something.
Yeah, they would never know.
But you don't wear the same clothes, do you?
Yeah, on the days we switch.
Do
people
get you mixed up?
Yeah.
All the time.
Not really. I'm used of it.
Doesn't bother you to say, hi, which one are you?
I meet new people that way.
Yeah. Meet new people.
Do you think it can help you or hurt you later on in life? Do you think, or how close do you think you'll be,
Help.
say, 20 years from now?
Help. Because we're really close. I mean, we share everything.
Do you feel the same emotions?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She's my best friend.
Wow. Anybody else have, like, is their best friend their brother or sister?
No way!
Okay, let's talk about, all right, the three of you in the back. And who's older? Give me the age.
He's the oldest.
Okay, you're 17?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
16, he's 15.
15.
Do you feel like you're responsible for them, or have you been?
Not for her, but for him.
What's a typical family life, what's it like for all of you as far as relating to one another?
We get along pretty good. It's just that, you know. Yes, we do.
The boys get along with the boys and the girls get along sometimes. We never get along with each other. But not all the time, I get along with him. We always go out together.
We don't get along sometimes because I have to use his phone sometimes because I have to make
She
phone
steals her
calls.
clothes. So.
And I take her clothes.
What's it like growing up with, well, two other brothers? How many are in your family?
8.
8. And how many male? How many men?
4 boys and 4 girls.
4 boys and 4 girls, so it's pretty even. What's it like growing up with, 4 other brothers?
It's fun because
A lot of fights.
you know, it's a lot of fights and everything, but you're never really lonely.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you always have someone to talk to. It's fun, but when it comes time for arguments and stuff, we don't. You know what I'm talking
What's the most
Like
serious
every day.
argument that any of you have had? The most serious argument, and how did you solve it?
Well, especially TV.
I got my phone bill was $80.
you wanna
Okay, let's
watch,
go here, then here.
Okay, you want to watch something important, and he turned the channel to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or you want to watch like Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
And
Now, that's
he
where
turned
the age
channel.
difference comes in, maybe, a little bit.
Right, and like when she talks some interesting topics, and he turned to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, you know what happens next. You know, like, okay, so I turned this channel, he turned that channel, so he got the control. Like, I have high temper sometimes, so we both fight, punch each other, and then like I cry afterwards because I feel that, oh my God, this is childish, and he's my little brother. I still like him no matter what, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, so I just said my phone because I'll like come home one day from school, come home like after practice, and my phone wouldn't be in my room, like the wire would be in her room, one of their rooms, and then like I got my phone bill last week and it was $80.
Wow.
It was from her, my two sisters.
No,
Do you have to pay? Does he share the cost at
No,
all?
I still have to pay for it. I don't even have
you
a
don't
job.
ask for any money.
I ask for money every day, and they're like, "You're paying for it yourself."
Does he ask for money?
night.
Does he ask for money?
No.
Yeah, I do.
Once, like he asked once, and that's
I
it.
asked for
I feel like I'm Chuck Woolery or something.
But I have it.
Wait, we're going to talk some more. We have to take a timeout right now. Wraparound continues right after this. Stay with us. Or not twins. I mean, the rest of you. I mean, being separated from your sibling. I mean, can you deal with that at this young age? And have you thought about it?
It'd probably be better. And I think from what I've seen from a lot of people, the relationships tend to get better when you don't spend as much time together. Like, I don't really see her that much around the house, but if I'm not living at home, when I do see her, it'll be better.
She went away over the summer, and when we saw each other for about 5 minutes, like, oh, I miss you so much, and a whap, you know. So it's when you don't see them, you start to miss them.
Yeah,
and
we
then
wrote
when
to
you're
each
with
other
them-
all summer. She wrote to me and stuff. And called me.
What about in school? Do your teachers expect you to act like your family or your...
Yeah, because people who had her, the next year they had me and said, oh, well, when are you going to dye your hair? You know, when are you going to start wearing the leather and the chains? It's like, well, I'm not her, you know, I'm
Right.
different.
Yeah. Everybody else, I saw some other head shape. Go ahead.
Well, last year, one of my teachers remembered her from 5 years, and she got better grades than me, and she didn't talk as much as I did. And she kept saying, you know, your sister was really good, and I was like,
No,
yeah, she
you
was.
have to live up to that, huh? Yeah. Are your relationships the same at home as they are in school? Or how do they differ? Go ahead.
I know. I talk to him, but when she walked down the hallway, I
He doesn't
don't.
talk to me at all.
And why not?
Like one time I had like
I got
a
an
short
argument with her this morning.
Pardon me?
I had an argument with her this morning. She had on one of my shirts. And we were gonna fight this morning.
And he's like, wait till we get down the bus stop. I'm gonna punch you. and then like I got in the car with my aunt, so he didn't get to touch me.
Wow, and you, go ahead.
What?
What's it like?
And every day in the cafeteria I sit with him, but I talk to her too, just to get money.
He's one nicer.
Just to get money?
Yeah.
Come
I give
on.
her every day. Her and her friends.
Well, come on. Well, look, we have a special guest coming up. We're going to talk about sibling relationships in just a few moments, and we'll talk a lot more. You can ask her questions when she comes on. We'll be back with that and a whole lot more. Wraparound continues right after this timeout. And welcome back to the show, everybody. I want to introduce you to a special guest. Her name is Diane Carroll. She's a high school educator, a reading specialist in the Pittsburgh school system. She's married, the mother of 3 beautiful children. And you may say, well, she's from Pittsburgh. Why the heck is she here? Please give a round of applause for my sister. This is Diane. She used to be Diane Washington. Now she's Diane Carroll. Now, Diane is 6 years older than I am. I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
Thank you.
In those 6 years, Di, were there any problems? Do you think 6 years was a difference? We have a lot of, these are 5 years apart and 3, and a lot of people are very close. Do you think 6 years was a problem for us?
Well, not now, but when we first, I think when we were young, I was the only kid on the block for about 6 years. And when this new infant came into the scene, this is according to my mother. I don't remember this, of course. But
She's watching now. She's watching.
It was tough, I think, having a new baby in the scene. And I kind of resented the turf being invaded for a while. And whenever I looked at my parents who were taking care of the baby, and I always say, why are you always taking care of him all the time? But after a while, though, as time went on, I learned to accept. And I think those first 6 years were tough when Ukee was an infant. But from that point on, there really hasn't been any rivalry or...
Not that I can think of, or I can talk about right now.
No.
Did you feel any pressure trying to, like, help raise me with Mom and Dad?
Well, no pressure, but I did hear some of the brothers and sisters talking about babysitting. I think babysitting took place a whole lot, and I couldn't go places because Ukee always had to be watched. But after a while, I didn't feel like I had to raise Ukee because Ukee's always been his own person, even as a little infant and as a toddler, and he really came into his own and had his own group of friends, and I had my group.
I got to pay my sister.
We never clashed.
I have to give her her money. What did you... All right, that was beautiful. That wasn't even rehearsed. What did you hate the most about me?
You always had holes in your socks.
Okay, fine.
No.
Was there anything? I mean...
Ukee, not really. I guess the fact that when it was some time to go someplace, he always had to tag along. And I used to say, why does Ukee have to go when I'm going to visit Pam? But for the most part, we argue a lot. I mean, you'd belch at the table a lot.
Okay.
And I used to say, few manners here.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. Yes, we will. We'll edit that out. Now, you have Brian and Alicia. You have 3 children, but Brian and Alicia are your oldest. They're 13 and 11, my niece and nephew. As a mother, what do you see as far as their relationship with each other? Is there any rivalries there, any jealousy?
Well, there's 2 years difference, so that makes a difference. And they fight a lot. And usually, it was this rule for this one, and why did you do that for him, and you didn't do that for me? And it's always like gauging who gets, the points. But they're good friends, too, at some point. But for the most part, right now, they're in the fighting stage. And I sort of let them work it out, because if I'm there all the time, they'll never learn how to deal with relationships with other people. I can't be there to be the referee all the time.
Do any of you feel like you have to follow in the footsteps, or want to follow in the footsteps, do you think, of your brother or sister? Do you want to do, like, the same things? Why or why not? Like, when you get, why not? I see a lot of head shaking. Why not?
Well, she's almost the same age as I am. She's, 16 months older, so there's not really that much. Like, she's so much older than me that she's doing so much that's different than I am, that by the time she does something, I'm old enough kind of to do it too, so I do it my own way. It's not like, oh, well, she did it this way, so that's like the only way. I kind of find my own way.
So it's horrible, because we always got the same rules. I was a year old. I was 16 months older, but she was close enough that we stayed up till the same time, or we got the same allowance, or we were allowed to go to the same places.
Okay.
It was awful.
Yeah.
And we're 3 years apart.
No.
And then we have a shorter brother. A younger brother. He is shorter. And we have a younger brother, too. And it seems that, when I was 10 and he was 7 and Shawnee was 3, I got to stay up till so late, and he got to stay up half an hour under. And then, as time goes up, they just become more lenient because they're just tired of fighting with you.
Are you guys jealous of each other in any way?
No. I mean, with us, the thing is just like, we follow in each other's footsteps. Like, I do something and he do it, or he do something and I do it. So it's kind of like competition.
Mutual.
Yeah, but it's not really.
You said you are. You said you're jealous of your sister?
A little bit.
How so?
I don't know.
I mean, you can, now's the time to let it all out. No.
She's thinner than I am. I don't know.
Dad, were you ever jealous of me, even back then and now? I mean, you're very successful in the Pittsburgh school system, a reading specialist, and, I'm on the tube, whatever that means. I'm just out of curiosity. Why or why not?
No, I never was. I think it's the bond that was formed between the two of us that Mom and Dad sort of laid out. There was nothing. I bossed him around, but I wasn't jealous. I just enjoyed that power, like you're saying. When parents are gone, that lays with me. But no, there was no jealousy. No.
As you all get older, do you think you get closer?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's what it seems like. I watch like my mom, and she has 3 brothers and sisters, and they're so close now. And I can't imagine like not as you get older, not like growing together, because that's the only. I mean, that should be the only thing I have. And I think they stick together with that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, well, when we were younger, we used to fight a lot, even physically. And now we just kind of argue in the mornings when she's in a bad mood or I'm in a bad mood. And most of the day we're friendly to each other. I don't know.
Di, very quickly, when did you think, we have to get ready to go to a break now, but when do you think we started to get close?
When I came back from college, and I left, Ukee was 5'9", I think. And when I came back 3 months later, He was about 6'2".
Oh, man.
And he
Oh, the man.
came to the dining room, and I looked and I screamed and I said, "Who is that?" And my mother said, "That's Ukee." I said, "You want to come visit me sometime?"
Yeah, right, okay. Well, we have to take a break on that note. Wraparound continues right after this timeout. And welcome back to the show. Time is running out, and I have to get my sister back to the airport so she can get back to Pittsburgh. But before we do go, Trang, I think you had a question
Yes,
for
I do
Diane?
have a question for Diane. Like, even though, like, you're 6 years older than your brother, in some stages, older brother can be, or older sister can be immature, you know. So were you immature when you were in your teenage age?
Well, I don't know if I'd say immature, but I think Ukee's always had a cool, calm exterior, even when he was younger, and I sort of was sort of a fussy one. So I think he dealt with things a lot easier than I did at some point.
I think so. I looked up to her naturally, as I did my parents, and in a way I was a little bit jealous, maybe because she was a lot older than I was. She had the boyfriends, and as she got older, and they had the cars. I remember Phil had the Fiat and everything. I said, "Oh, that was so cool," and I just couldn't wait, to get older and get that. But I guess that's part of life, and especially when you're 6 years apart, like that. Gus?
Okay, well, me and Tom, we share a lot together. Sometimes, at work, we'll share work together so we can get done better. And clothes like that. I was wondering if you two shared anything together.
Probably. See, it was tough. 6 years, I think we shared some of the same friends on the block growing up in West Philadelphia. Right. I mean, her friends were probably 6 years older than myself, and in her peer group, and I have my peer group. But out in West Philadelphia, on that particular block, we probably shared each other's friends and staying out at night till like 9 o'clock till our parents called us home.
Ukee's great clothes are from Chameleon in the gallery in the Cherry Hill Mall.
And we share a lot of good Jerry Lewis movies.
Yeah, we love Jerry Lewis. Still do. Yeah, those are the good old days. Speaking of television and Jerry Lewis and just television families, you guys think that television families are the real thing when it comes to sibling relationships, like the kids on the Cosby Show, maybe even the Brady Bunch? Is it like that? Is it like that at home? Is it that simple? Why not?
Well, I think that our family kind of resembles Roseanne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my mom is really, like...
She's a powerhouse.
Okay, yeah, you can say
she
that.
exerts her authority very wisely, but very straightforward and gets the point across. But we're a unit.